into battle rap or rapping in general? Like, so your poetry makes sense. You're doing the poetry. You have that natural flow, and then all of a sudden, high school, I guess, ends. And then what happens next? That like in your journey.
Somehow I managed to be in this Facebook group where they were doing like this freestyle battle thing where um, you have to spit like 4 bars, 2 to 4 bars, but the last word you use, someone else has to start their 4 bars with it. And I participated in it, and somebody reached out and was like, "Hey, we want you to be a part of our league out in Coney Island," and the rest was history. Like honestly, I still keep in touch with them. I even tell them, "Hey, if it wasn't for you guys, like I wouldn't even be traveling anywhere." I just
That's
hit them up.
crazy.
Yeah, like I hit them up and was like, "Guess where I'm going now? I'm going to Atlanta." It's like really dope. I would have
That's
never
dope.
even thought battle rap took me to Canada, like
Yo,
across the
Billy,
border.
like for real though, I think it's nifty that you started that with. I was in a Facebook group. Because Facebook
Word.
groups are in a weird place right now, where the reputation isn't the most solid for this kind of thing. Like if you
Yeah,
have
now
like
I think like in the beginning, wasn't it so cool though, Flacco? Like Bias and Caps and
Yeah.
Hangman, like all of those, they had certain things, and we even had a dude that would like Photoshop battle at rappers' faces to like everyday workers' jobs. Like, what? How would you feel if Loaded Lux worked at IHOP and come up with
Yeah,
bars
yeah.
for that?
There
And
were all sorts of things
yeah,
that
we were
were
doing
that
mad
was
shit. It was fun. It was fun.
Facebook was fun once upon a time.
yo, that's super
Before the
cool.
band hammer started
Before
going
the
crazy.
trolling, I really
And
think trolling and narcissism is what killed social media presence for the most part. There's always somebody quick to say something negative or something
yeah, that's a
derogatory, which is why we have so many stipulations on what we say now.
yeah, that's big.
Yeah, facts.
But like
Facts.
when we're
It's kind of like the QAnon thing, where they go too far in the name of like freedom of speech, and then it's like they ruin the fun for everybody who is like just having fun saying regular crazy shit. So it's
Right. And
like,
it
see,
also
like
goes to
we weren't being PC, we were being a little crazy too, but you went extra crazy far with it, trying to
right.
prove a point, and now here we are. Everybody's banned, and the social medias is a wasteland.
social
And it
media
also
is
goes to
also
show
just
too,
like
like comedy at one point was really like um it told the truth, but the real raw truth, right? So half the jokes that we were laughing at that Eddie Murphy said or even Dave Chappelle said now, cancel culture would be like, no, like we want this person to cease to exist. So, and that's what I also like about battle rap too. Like the rawness is still there, although we're still
Yeah,
trying to find out what's the what's the limit to that disrespect. Because disrespect sells, yeah, but we can't fray away from the fact that you still have to be clever. You still have to have some type of like
I think that's kind of
creative
what
thinking.
happened a little bit though. What you just touched on with the disrespect thing. Yo, for like you know what changed between 2010, let's say, and 2021 on Facebook? About 2 billion people joined the club, and I'm not even playing. It went from like a few million people in colleges, and then 100 million, and now it's like 2 billion people around the world. It's like what? It's like something like 1 in 3 people has a Facebook account. And that means the
yeah.
whole
No, I
world is
mean,
there. So then, with that, the disrespect game really escalated. I don't know about your Facebook, but I watched that disrespect game go to levels that were like the conversation would become disrespect before discourse. And then I still see that play out. And then I saw the rules come. So like it's unfortunate that like a lot of things are changing, but there's just a lot of people that also think it's super cool to just call random strangers names for the sake of it without even talking to them. I
yeah,
mean,
facts.
fair enough. Like maybe that's allowed, but I know that I'm in Canada. I don't have all that like freedom of speech stuff to the degree that you do. It's not the same anywhere else but that one country you live in.
Yeah, it's just the United States of America that
So
that
it's
does
like
this. Like,
now we're
my
playing in a
freedom of
global
speech.
world. Yeah, it's
My
not
Right,
you're
here.
impeding on my freedom of speech, and it's like in other countries they're like, what freedom of
Yo,
speech?
it's like
right.
We
Like
don't
we
they're
have that.
selective. They're kind of a little bit more conscious on what they say. I feel like a lot more people outside of like New York and like places where you kind of have to have that grit and that
mm,
wise, like the wise cracks ready, you know. Um, you can
Facts.
kind of think. before you talk and say something, versus where you know you kind of have to be on the defensive. And sometimes communication, like context, really matters too. Some people are quick to misinterpret what you say, and you don't even come from a negative, you know, backing with what you say.
I also noticed education rates and knowledge sets don't match very well. So it's like I think it's just like we're adapting, and within a decade we're gonna be back to being able to crack jokes and everybody's gonna be alright with it. It's just this middle ground, because it's also grandmas there. Like it's not like you know like how we used to not say things in front of grandma, but grandma's on Facebook in front of all the, you
Yeah,
know,
but
like
then, but like grandmas, like kind of like are different than they used to be. Like where it
Yeah,
used to feel like you couldn't curse around your grandma.
now
Now it's like
grandma
your
curse.
grandma is cursing, so you're like,
I accept
oh,
that.
grandma cursing.
Grandma want to
I'll
go to the
curse too.
club too. She want
You
her little
know?
seafood boil. She ain't taking care of nobody else's kids no more.
I fucks with that
She
answer a lot actually. No, but like okay, so